So what is the goal of your life? I know it's a tough one. Let's see if you can answer that.
Sir, I just want to help the community around us and our mother nation, because they are the one which made me, and like because of them I am over here. So I want to help the people, like the Mother India.
My clapping applause for you. Yes, Rhythm.
And me, I want to make my parents proud, and I really want to be an animator, and because I love animes and animating, and also I'm thinking about becoming a graphic designer.
Excellent. I think both of you have great goals, but don't worry if your goals keep changing. There's no rule that says that you have to decide everything in childhood. I kept changing my career from IAS to motivational speaking. I used to be a cricketer earlier. So it's okay to go with the flow. Be cheerful and happy and positive. Tell your friends. And the goal of life ultimately is happiness. Whatever you do, it should give you happiness.
Hello everyone, I'm Rhythm from Gwaldam, Uttarakhand. As you know, academics में marks लाने के लिए तो सभी बोलते हैं, but what about the right habits? Like habit of eating right, habit of reading, habit of talking amazingly, and all these areas जो हम सबके लिए essential है, उन पर work करता है The Hush Tree. और ये सब हमें सिखाते हैं ब्यूटीफुल एक्टिविटीज, इंटरेस्टिंग सेशंस एंड अपॉर्चुनिटीज से. द गुडनेस इंटरव्यूज भी ऐसी एक अपॉर्चुनिटी है जहाँ पर हम बच्चे लीडर्स से मिलते हैं, उनसे बात करते हैं और उनसे नई नई चीज़ें सीखते हैं. है ना बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग? एंड फॉर टुडेज एपिसोड वी हैव अ स्पेशल गेस्ट, मिस्टर विवेक आत्रे.
Namaskar everyone, I am Vardhan from Dwarka, New Delhi. As Rhythm said, we will be talking to Mr. Vivek Atray. He is an ex-IAS officer and held an important position in the government. He is now a motivational speaker at TEDx, and also he is an author. He's published many books, out of which one is Move On Buddy. We will be talking about it more in the session. So let's dive deep into this session, and we will learn more about happiness, leadership, and positive attitude.
Hello sir, I'm Rhythm, a student of grade 7 from Gwaldam, Uttarakhand. I'm a person with learning attitude. I, along with Vardhan, who is soon going to introduce himself, welcome you to this episode of the Goodness Interviews. Today I feel very excited to talk to you.
Sure, let's go.
Hello sir, I am Vardhan, a student of grade 5 from Dwarka, New Delhi. I have published 2 books and got 9 world records at the age of 9.
After a long day at school, I love to sing, play video games and play football, sometimes doodling. And what is your favorite way to unwind after a long day?
So I'm a sportsman and I love sports. I used to play cricket at the under 19 level. Then I kept playing even in college and my career also. We played officers matches. I would go for net practice. Even today I go for net practice. And sometimes we even play veterans matches, veterans cricket, which is absolutely fun. So I play, I'm reasonably fit, I run around and my cricket is my passion. So it helps me to unwind. I also play a bit of tennis and badminton. So whatever sports I play, they help me to unwind. But also with the family, I like to watch sports again, or I listen to music and we sing also a little bit together. And we also have a lot of conversation games or conversations, and spending time with loved ones and family is another way to really relax and unwind. So these are the ways I unwind.
My favorite food is rajma rice. I could eat it my whole life. If you could eat only one type of cuisine for the rest of your life, what would it be?
I think I kept changing my preferences. I used to love things like chana bhatura and aloo puri and all, being from North India. But I started avoiding these when I became fitness conscious, and I was never overweight. But when you're
Sir, you muted.
caught up in just watching weight, and it becomes very difficult to manage your weight at times. So I was basically always fitness conscious, and I managed to stay fit. So today I like lighter, healthier foods. I'm a big fan of South Indian food actually. The kids don't normally like it, but I love idli sambar and filter coffee and dosas and uttapams. But idli sambar and filter coffee, I think I could eat every day for breakfast at least for the rest of my life.
That sounds tasty, sir.
Sir, what inspired you to join the Indian Administrative Services, and what did you enjoy the most as your time as an IAS officer?
Thank you, Rhythm and Vardhan, for asking me questions, and it's a pleasure to meet you. You are very accomplished and bright yourself, both of you, and it's good to meet such bright faces and bright personalities. So as an IAS officer, I think I had a very creative tenure. I was happy to do some innovative work, and normally the government does not encourage you to become too creative, but within the sphere or the jurisdiction or the sphere of work that you have, you can become as creative as possible and necessary. So I'm referring to the fact that creativity is important in any field, including the IAS, to find a solution to a public problem, to make sure that the public is being serviced properly, they are able to access public services, they are able to get their work done in offices without much ado, or there is developmental work which is taking place in the district or in the department area, which is basically being done quickly, efficiently, and innovatively wherever possible and necessary. So that was my aim as an IAS officer, and I think I was able to do some work in this direction. And to earn a name by doing good work is more important than to earn a name by just doing exciting things once in a while. So it's important to be doing solid work throughout your career, and that is something that I try to do. And yes, sometimes there were highs and sometimes there were lows, and that is part of life. So good to start with this question. Go ahead to the next one.
Amazing, sir. Would you like to tell us about how you transitioned from a career in the civil services to becoming an author and a motivational speaker as well?
Yeah, so I think from the IAS, I was definitely positioned to get into any career because the IAS teaches. And before that, I was in the Haryana Civil Service, the HCS. So the HCS and IAS taught me that I could be, you can't say a jack of all trades, but definitely an all-rounder. So I have a TEDx talk also on being an all-rounder in life. And I have several TEDx talks, but this one is close to my heart because it was my first ever TEDx talk. And in that, I talk about the fact that you have to be multi-dimensional. That means you have to open the windows of your mind in various directions. You cannot only focus on one particular area, because that makes you better at every area. If you have a little bit of difference in your work areas every day, or your routine is not too restricted. So what I'm trying to say is that I transitioned from being an IAS officer to a motivational speaker, an advisor, mentor, because I had that in me. And the IAS, the service, taught me certain things which I learned along the way, which I wanted to share with youngsters especially. And then the youngsters of the country, I find, are quite, at times I find they're feeling low, they are stressed out, there are lots of pressure, expectations, social media, parents, everybody is putting pressure on. So I felt that I am somebody who can go out there and motivate them. And they are connecting well with me, and even though my daughters are probably older than you, for example, But it is easy for the young to connect with me somehow. I have a rapport with them. I have lots of videos. I'm on Instagram. They follow me. They listen to my videos or watch my reels or TEDx talks. So I wanted to do more of this. I started doing it while I was in the IAS. Spent it in the right direction. I think it was very important for me to spend that time fruitfully after leaving the IAS. I wanted to become a motivational speaker. I wanted to travel across India. I wanted to spend time with the youth, and that's what I do now. So I'm very happy with the transition. It came at the right time, and I enjoyed my career in the service, but I'm also enjoying my career as a motivational speaker.
Wonderful, sir. What inspired you to write the book, Move On Bunny? And what message do you want readers to take away from it?
So Move On Bunny was my first book. I was also a writer when I was in the service, and I wrote my first 2 books while I was in the IAS or CS. And I wrote Move On Bunny with a funny bone in my mind, with a funny bone intent, which was humorous. So I have a story of a young man who's on the move all the time. He's always restless. And that's how many of us are nowadays. So we basically do not we start taking things for granted, and we want to get more and more and more and more, and change our location, change our job, change our career, change our friends also. So it's time for us to settle down a little bit, but there has to be movement and dynamism also. So I think in that book I was able to bring out the pluses and minuses of being too much of a mover and shaker. And Move On Bunny Kapoor is the boy, a young man. And then I went to Dubai Bounces Back and the other books. Yes.
That sounds cool. What is the most interesting or unusual job you have ever had?
Interesting or honorable job?
Interesting or unusual job?
Unusual. Okay. Yeah, so I think I've in the service, when I was in the IAS, I had to do a few unusual things. So one of the unusual incidents which I remember is that there was an incident which was a cross-border incident, let's say with a neighboring state. Say I was in one state and the neighboring state was abroad. And the government sent me to that neighboring state to go and meet some senior officer and request them that this, whatever has happened, should not have happened. Or, it was something which was not desirable. So I went there, I met these senior people, and they were senior to me, but they were from a different state. So it was very difficult for me to convince them, but they saw that I've come from. So instead of getting into a lot of correspondence or writing letters or meeting at the chief minister level, we were able to sort out the matter at a very junior level relatively. One more unusual thing I'll tell you is to organize something which is very, something which is more music and entertainment. So I was organizing something called the Rose Festival in Chandigarh as the director of tourism. And every year I would have to decide with a team of officers which singer to call or which performer to call for the final day. So it was very unusual for officers to decide on entertainment, music. And then when the singers would finally come, I remember Udit Narayan came and Sunidhi Chauhan came, top singers came at that time, Kumar Sanu came. So we were basically able to meet them, take pictures with them. And I even remember meeting Madhuri Dixit when she was a top heroine. We also met people like Sonakshi Sinha and her family. So it has been at times very unusual, my role in the service. And but then in the IAS, nothing surprises you. Something or the other will come up which is unusual many times. And you are able to handle most of the things.
Wonderful, sir. At Hushtree, we learn about the importance of communication as a leader. In your opinion, what are some of the most important qualities that a leader should possess? and how can they cultivate those qualities?
Yeah, so that's a very far-reaching question. It's a bigger picture, bigger question. But I think some of the things I can encapsulate here. Leadership is about obviously you will be more bogged down. You will be not able to impress upon your team the kind of leadership that you possess. They may not possess that, or they may not want to get into that. So I think it's very important that a leader is able to take along his team with his own heart. Secondly, I think communication you mentioned, very important to inspire and communicate to the team exactly what you mean by a particular idea. And the leader comes up with an idea, should take feedback. Communication should be two-way. A good leader listens to others. Number 3 is empathy. I would say empathy for the common lowest rung of the hierarchy. Somebody you are leading who is at the bottom of the ladder. He or she should also be inspired. So you need to lead with empathy and not become somebody who is absolutely stuck up or strict or disciplined to the extent that you don't listen to people. Fourth, I would say, is creativity. A leader also has to be creative, innovative, and has to think of different ideas. I already mentioned it in my answer on the IS issue. So also, the creative thinking leads to better results. And a leader who is creative will also inspire the team to be creative. And lastly, I would say a leader has to be decisive. A leader cannot be dithering, and there is a word used by a friend of mine recently, prevaricating, which basically means you are double-minded all the time, not deciding, indecisive. So a leader has to be decisive. But to be decisive, you have to be calm. And to be calm, you have to be working on your calmness. So leadership qualities are about working on yourself, inspiring the team, and getting the best out of them and going for the goal. So it's a long answer, but then it is a big question that you ask.
Yes, sir, that's right.
Sir, we want to play a game with you. It's called Mr. Vivek Atray's Leadership Tips. The rules are simple. You can imagine yourself in our shoes, and we will ask you some situations around leadership, and you can tell us how to handle those situations. Can we, please?
Sure, let's go.
Yes, sir. So, once I was leading a group project and one of my teammates was not contributing as much as the others. What would you have done, and how would you approach them and encourage them to participate more?
I think in such a situation, it's better to talk to that person one-to-one separately. So if you say something to a person who is not cooperating or feeling low or otherwise not participating, if you say something in public and say, why aren't you participating? Why aren't you helping? Why aren't you doing your job? Then that person gets worse, feels worse, and will feel humiliated. So better to take that person to one side, say, come, let's have a walk, or let's have a cup of coffee, or in your case, you can have an ice cream because you're kids. So you say, come, let's have an ice cream. And then you go and talk to that person and tell them that, you're not doing your best. So what is the problem? Can you share with me? Maybe I can help you. So that person opens up, and then you can get the best out of that person.
I had a similar experience when I was working on a team project. One of my teammates was struggling on a part. How to manage such situations without completely taking over?
Yeah, so basically you cannot do everything. I remember the example of Sachin Tendulkar, who was India's cricket captain, and he was the best in the world. But everybody had to play their role, all 11 people. He can't win the match on his own every time. So, but he cannot make them into himself. So everybody is different. So you cannot take on their role, but you can encourage them. You can show them by example. You can inspire them. And ultimately they have to play the role, and they have to, even if they're struggling, they have to do the job. So a leader has to motivate, has to be a role model, has to set the example. And then you'll be able to find the results.
That's very inspiring, sir. I have a younger brother who looks up to me as a leader. How can I set a good example and be a positive role model for him?
Yeah, Rhythm, that's a very good question because role models are those who are in the family at times. The parents, the brother, sister, the uncle, auntie. So I think it's very important that all human beings are role models to somebody. So being a role model will help. If you are able to handle your own problems, then the brother or sister will also see that I can also do that. So if you are winning the battle of your own life, then the brother will also start working harder because see that my sister is doing well, or that I am able to bring out the best in my. You are able to bring out your best. You are able to handle problems. You are smiling even in difficult situations. You have a sense of humor. You are positive, not negative and critical and cynical. So then that sibling also will see that okay, this one is not telling me what to do, but himself or herself, she or he is doing the right thing. So then the others are also inspired. So you become a role model and they will follow.
Wow. I have a friend who's nervous in speaking in public. I encouraged him to join a debate competition. Now he has cold feet. What would you have done? How would you help him to build his confidence and deliver a strong performance?
Yeah, it's very difficult at times for people to speak in public and they are not able to perform. They get nervous, they forget their lines, they forget where I wrote what point, then you keep turning the paper. Where was my point number 62? I can't find it. So it's very tough at times. So because everybody's watching, I'm getting nervous, my ears are getting red and I'm feeling nervous. It happens to everybody because we're all human. But I think I overcame that by becoming, by practice first of all, and then by becoming calmer. Calmness really helps. So I think you tell him that what can go wrong? You tell such a person that do your best and leave the rest to God and be calm. Even if it goes wrong, you have given your all to it, and don't let your effort be less. But the result is not in your hand. And this is also what the scriptures say and what God tells us, that you do your best and I'll help. So there is a saying that you start walking towards God and God starts running towards you. So who covers more ground? Obviously God covers more ground because he's running, she's running towards you. So we are basically to do our best. And in speaking as well, you give your best, practice, prepare your content, practice your delivery, and you'll be fine. Gradually, you'll keep improving. The aim is improvement, but it's not in our hands. It's only effort which. So that's a bit of a philosophical answer, bit of a grown-up's answer, let's say. But I think you understood what I meant.
Yes, sir, that's really great. I really enjoyed playing this amazing game and learned a lot from you in this process. Lastly, thank you for all your time. You answered all our questions so beautifully and we really learned a lot from you.
I think it was a wonderful interview. Thank you, Vardhan and Rhythm, and you are very bright. I'm sure your friends are also very bright. You can make them jealous by saying that we were in the interview and we asked questions, and next time maybe they can get a chance. But it's absolutely fantastic what you're doing, and my compliments to the Hush Tree. And I think children should keep on interacting with new people, different people, so that they get confidence. And you were very good, both of you. My compliments and best wishes.
Thank you so much, sir. I really learned a lot from you. Have a nice day. Is there anything you would like to know from us? We would love to share.
Okay, one last question to both of you. I am asking you now. You have to answer truthfully. So what is the goal of your life? I know it's a tough one. Let's see if you can answer that.
Sir, I just want to help the community around us and our mother nation, because they are the one which made me, and because of them I am over here. So I want to help the people, the Mother India.
My clapping applause for you. Yes, Rhythm.
And me, I want to make my parents proud, and I really want to be an animator, and because I love animes and animating, and also I'm thinking about becoming a graphic designer.
Excellent. I think both of you have great goals, but don't worry if your goals keep changing. There's no rule that says that you have to decide everything in childhood. I kept changing my career from IAS to motivational speaking. I used to be a cricketer earlier. So it's okay to go with the flow. Be cheerful and happy and positive. Tell your friends. And the goal of life ultimately is happiness. Whatever you do, it should give you happiness. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir.
थैंक यू सर। तो आज के एपिसोड में हमने बहुत कुछ सीखा एंड वी रियली एंजॉयड अ लॉट एंड वी होप कि आपने भी कुछ नया तो ज़रूर सीखा होगा। अगर आप किसी ऐसे पर्सन को जानते हो और आप चाहते हो कि हम उनको गुडनेस इंटरव्यूज में इनवाइट करें तो हमें कमेंट सेक्शन में ज़रूर बताइए। दैट्स ऑल फॉर टुडे फ्रॉम आवर साइड एंड सी यू फॉर द नेक्स्ट वन।